Y'all know I had to come in and give my 27 cents on the Democratic debate. Let me just tell you before I get to anything else, Kamala Harris shut it down with her last 60 seconds or 90 seconds with her final answer. I just want to point out that we have a Black woman that is a top tier presidential candidate for the first time in this entire country's history. And Kamala Harris, in that moment, she stood in her truth and her unlikely story and how she would have gotten there as the daughter of an Indian immigrant and a Jamaican immigrant and a Black woman and a woman of Southeast Asian descent, and how she is standing there and pointing out that people like Trump with their immigration policies and their bigotry would not make a story like hers possible. That was so incredibly powerful. I have been talking and trying to emphasize how historic this moment is, how major this moment is, and I really, really, really wanted to get that moment from Kamala Harris, and I got it. And that means so much to me as a Black woman. That means so much to me, no matter what happens in the campaign, that she did what she did in that moment. And it's not something that the pundits are necessarily going to get, that the people on Twitter are necessarily going to get. But when this primary is written, win or lose, when the history books are written, that moment will have mattered more than anything else that anybody said on that stage tonight. So Kamala Harris, thank you so much for giving us that moment, especially as a Black woman in this country who has seen Operation Block the Black Woman. Kamala Harris was 7th in terms of speaking time. She got some of the fewest questions of the entire night. And yet in those moments, she shined. And like I said, she stood in her truth. She stood in her intelligence. She stood in her knowledge. She stood in her strength. And she let y'all know what she's about. So after tonight, I don't want to hear anybody say one more damn word about, well, I don't know why she's running. She told y'all. And I don't have to repeat it because she said it better than I can say it. So if you need to run the tape back, then run the tape back because she made it known why Kamala Harris is running to be the next president of the United States. Now, let's talk about some of these highlights. All right. First of all, I have to say the cavalry was out, child. The cavalry was out. The media, CNN, New York Times, they had an agenda. You know, considering that these questions were planned, there was a very noticeable discrepancy in terms of who got asked questions and the speaking time. Almost every single question was framed to ensure that either Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden got to chime in. And I don't think that's fair. Why can't you ask a question, do you support X, Y, and Z, without saying Elizabeth Warren supports this, do you agree or disagree? None of these candidates are the standard bearer. If you're going to make a contrast, you should be making a contrast to Donald Trump instead of having any of these particular candidates be the one that they're responding to. And then they gave each these people, and it's the numbers don't lie. Elizabeth Warren spoke for 22 minutes compared to Kamala Harris, who got 12 minutes. So these are the kinds of built-in disadvantages that tip the scales one way or another. That's why I said Operation Block the Black Woman. At one point, Kamala was 9th in terms of speaking time throughout the night. It's ridiculous. This has to be a fair system. I mean, we know that it's not fair. We know that as Kamala Harris, and I want to say Bakari Sellers made this point earlier, she has to jump higher. She has to walk a much finer tightrope. But y'all, come on. Let's try to pretend to have some sort of equity in this situation. So, outside of that, like I said, Kamala Harris, she did shine with her answers. Senate intelligence, Kamala pushed through when it came to that answer on Turkey and Syria. Her gun violence answer just absolutely broke me. I mean, when she talked about how 8 people will die watching the debate, if that doesn't stop you in your tracks, then you need to go get your heart checked out because there's something wrong with you. And each time the second that she opened up her mouth, she changed the tenor of the conversation and brought a level of seriousness and a presidential level to whatever the discussion was. So Kamala won round after round when she did get to speak. So aside from that, slam dunk. Absolutely slam dunk. And I'm not arguing with y'all about that because as a Black woman, that was a slam dunk. Final statement. When she brought up that reproductive rights had not been mentioned, that was 38 minutes into the debate at that point. you keep having a discussion about reproductive rights and you don't talk about Black maternal mortality. You don't talk about reproductive rights being under assault. Do we really need to listen to Warren deflect over and over again about whether or not she's going to raise taxes? Like, at a certain point, the conversation is not productive and we need to move on to other stuff. So I really appreciated Kamala Harris in that moment bringing up reproductive rights and the fact that they're under assault. So I thought that was a really good, strong moment. For the record, I'm not talking about every other candidate because I don't support them. So it's nothing for me to talk about. I thought, but I will give a little quick overview of the people that I can remember because, child, only so many people got to talk with everything being focused on Warren and Biden and Sanders. But I thought Tulsi Gabbard fell flat. Girl, get off your goddamn high horse. You sitting up there talking about somebody smearing you and lying on you when your ass sat up there and smeared Kamala in the last debate that you actually made it to. Get the fuck out of here with that, girl. I'm not trying to hear nothing that she got talking about. She had more energy for throwing shade at Representative Al Green, Representative Maxine Waters. Like I said, she already slandered Kamala Harris in the last debate that she made it to. And she sat up there and had energy for Bakari Sellers. How is it that Tulsi Gabbard got so much energy for the Black people? I just listed all 4. But she ain't got that same energy for Assad. And did y'all catch that shade she threw at Obama trying to talk about Obama has blood on his hands? So you didn't attack. Now I mentioned 5 Black people that Tulsi Gabbard got energy for, but she ain't got shit for goddamn Assad, who out there slaughtering people and all kind of stuff. There's something wrong with that picture, y'all. It is something wrong with that picture. I didn't hear any lies from Bakari. And I think he was right on point. If she got up there and she showed that she has no substance whatsoever. So Tulsi, girl, bye. Tom Steyer, what is he doing? Okay, you had impeachment now. Well, he already under impeachment inquiry. So you can go ahead and drop out. I don't know what his point is. Beto, I forgot he was there when he talked. Didn't really leave an impression either. I like Corey. Now, he's not my number 1. Or really, it's only 1 of 1 on my list. But, you know, I do like Corey. But I swear to God, when Corey be talking, I be like, okay, what was the question? He just be going on and on. I feel like Corey's segments are 5 minutes, even though they're timed like everybody else's. But I do appreciate his ability to interject and get his talking time. So go ahead, Corey. He has some good moments, but like I said, he ain't at the top of my list. So moving along. Bernie Sanders, he give you the same shit every time. Talking about, we're not talking about climate change. We're not talking about climate change. And actually, we never really did get too much into climate change. So he kind of had a point there. But damn, we only 1 question in and you talking about what we ain't talking about. So anyways, Bernie, whatever. I didn't appreciate the segment about their health because it just really gave 370 plus year olds an opportunity to talk about how fabulous they are. And I'm just like, okay, why don't we talk about issues that affect everybody? Okay, because what are you, these people aren't going to say, yeah, I'm going to drop dead in the next couple of years. Don't vote for me. So that was a stupid ass segment. I'm trying to remember. I thought Yang was cool. You know, he stays on his messaging channel, and I cannot be mad at him for that. I thought Julian Castro was cool. He didn't get a lot of time to speak. I did appreciate him bringing up Tatiana Jefferson. I'm sure that's going to be a big hit with the Black blue checks, and he does consistently address these things early, so I don't think it's a pander at all. So I did appreciate that from him. That was a highlight from him. Biden, Chad, he can't land a punch to save his life. I mean, he just stumbled and he's so underwhelming to me. Biden just he doesn't do it for me. I did think that little exchange with him and Elizabeth Warren, which was interesting, when he said, I got the votes for you. And she said, I'm deeply grateful to Obama. Oh, now you're grateful to Obama. Because a couple of minutes earlier, it sounded like you was taking all goddamn credit for the agency when he was president. I mean, he was the one that pushed for it. But now all of a sudden you want to thank Obama to throw shade at Biden. Well, you sure as hell wasn't thanking Obama. You was calling him crooked because he was getting paid for speeches. So you can save all that Obama invoking energy for somebody else, because I don't believe when you need more people, Elizabeth Warren. So speaking of Elizabeth, first I want to say I thought her closing statement was weird. How are you going to talk about your friendship with a Republican 25 years ago was unexpected? You were a Republican 25 years ago, girl. So what are you talking about? Talking about you weren't, you were more liberal than him. Girl, knock it off. Knock it off. You and your biography, you can't keep your biography straight to save your life. And I'm not here for that. But let's talk about this one, because I know y'all sitting up there salty. I know y'all salty because Kamala Harris, now, everybody was on Warren's head. But I know what y'all think. Y'all think that the Black folks and the Latino folks, need to go to the back of the bus, and they not allowed to say nothing to the white candidates. Oh my God, no, you can't do that. Even though Pete was dragging Warren's ass all night, and other people were dragging Warren's ass all night, but when the black person say you got a problem, and I'm calling you out for that shit, okay? I'm calling you out. Kamala can say whatever the hell she want to say to whoever she want to say it to. And I'm going to tell you this. I thought that all she did was ask Elizabeth Warren to join her in condemning Trump's Twitter account. Now, I'm trying to figure out how Elizabeth Warren got all the energy. She got energy for big tech. She got energy for Amazon, for Facebook. She got energy for big oil and Wall Street. She got energy for everybody but goddamn Trump's Twitter. What is that about? I don't believe you. How you gonna take on Trump and you can't even call for the suspension of his Twitter account? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm invoking my blackness again. Okay? Black women, black people on Twitter are constantly getting the rules of the Twitter terms unfairly applied. We're targeted, we're mass supported, we're shut down, we have to start from scratch, we get suspended, we get restricted. So why the hell should we get more stringent rules applied to us than Donald Trump? Donald Trump incites violence, he intimidates whistleblowers, he commits obstruction of justice and crimes in plain sight on Twitter. If Elizabeth Warren cannot stand up against Donald Trump's Twitter account, in which he has repeatedly insulted her, then I don't know why I should trust her to stand up to Donald Trump in the general election. Girl, you're looking kind of weak and you're looking like a hypocrite. If you can't stand up over here, then I don't believe you're going to stand up over here when it really counts. So, just to wrap up, Kamala, she did her thing tonight. She only had 12 minutes out of 3 hours. She made the best use of her 12 minutes. The one complaint I did have was I felt like her Lift Act answer could have been much stronger. Lift Act is my favorite Kamala Harris policy. She needs to be able to sell that better. I mean, she could have brought up the fact that her Lift Act is the best plan to lift the most people out of poverty. She could have brought up the fact that her Lift Act is not a trickle-down policy like wealth tax or other things. It is actually a direct infusion of cash into the pocketbooks of families. She could have brought up the fact that we have wage stagnation in this country, and that's what her Lift Act addresses. $6,000 a year for American families that are working. It could take a family 8 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years at a 1% raise, a 2% raise per year, or 0% raise for some companies to get that kind of additional money every single year, or you can take it, access it monthly. That is such a huge, important policy that I really, really, really want Kamala to work. Please work on that, Kamala. Please work on selling the Lift Act, because that is her best policy, hands down. So I really, really wanted her to go harder selling that. Anti-poverty, closing the income gap. So many things she could have said about Lift Act. So that was a missed opportunity for Kamala. But she, like I said, she was solid. Every other answer, she was solid. And if people don't like whatever she said about Warren, then oh well, too bad, so damn sad. Because guess what? This general election, it ain't gonna have nothing on anything that anybody said on that stage tonight ain't gonna have nothing on what's coming in that general election. And so y'all better learn how to buckle up. Y'all better learn how to stop complaining anytime somebody sizzles the person that you like a little bit, because it ain't gonna get no easier from here on out. So congratulations, Kamala, on a spectacular night. Like I said, she did the best of what she had, because as a black woman, shit, they're not gonna give you the platform. They're not gonna give you the 22 minutes, child. So she worked it out with 12 minutes, and we're gonna see if this moves the needle. The punditry is not gonna be Team Kamala, but I'm Team Kamala. So go Kamala.